Social media is about to change forever. For creators, for brands, for anyone that's using content to grow a business. The game is being completely reset. Because the truth is, we're entering a brand new era for marketing. Now, the good news is there are lots of new ways to win that weren't possible before. I know this because I spend all day on the cutting edge of content marketing and distribution. I have 1 million followers, I've done billions of views, and I'm starting to see trends and patterns that are not obvious to the average person, but are massive opportunities. So in this video, I'm gonna walk through the 6 biggest social media trends that I see coming over the next few years. And if you care about growing your business at all, you're gonna wanna pay attention. All right, now the first social media trend is the emergence of new social platforms. That's right, we are gonna get new social platforms that launch in the next couple years. And this really is the mega trend, because if there's one thing the marketing world has taught me, it's how important it is to be ready when a new social platform launches. Because here's the thing, if you were given a choice, every creator and business owner on earth would go back in time to invest more in Facebook and YouTube in the early 2010s, Instagram and LinkedIn in the late 2010s, and TikTok in 2020. Why? Because those early years are the easiest time to win. If you were to map the life cycle of any social platform, those first 12 to 18 months have user demand that significantly outpaces content supply. Literally any piece of content posted works. During this period, you get massive views, massive followers, and massive conversion for almost no effort. It's literally a gold rush. And this gold rush phenomenon happens both when new platforms launch and when old platforms launch a new feature. And we all saw this with Instagram Reels in 2022. Instagram had been around since 2010, and by 2020, it kind of felt like the game was solved. It was over. But the addition of Reels in 2022 completely reset everything on Instagram and allowed a ton new people to enter and lots more to win. What this means is that you should always be looking for new social platforms as well as when old social platforms launch new features so that you can sprint and take advantage of those early moments. So here's why this all matters. I think we're about to see a few massive launches in the social media space over the next few years. Let me explain what they are. First and foremost, the one that's for sure happening is US TikTok. If you haven't been following the news, the US forced China to sell the rights to US TikTok to a US controlled conglomerate. Now, it's not exactly clear who all the owners will be, but it's rumored Oracle, Silver Lake, and potentially even A16Z will be in the mix. And this means that in the next 6 to 12 months, you will see a brand new social platform emerge for the first time since Threads, and before that, TikTok itself. And I'm telling you, this is gonna be the biggest opportunity in the social media world since the pandemic. Because it's been reported that the US-controlled version of TikTok will need to rebuild their own algorithms from scratch. And that means user profiles and followers that have already been built up on the existing TikTok will not port over to the US version. Everybody's starting over from scratch, including me. But this time, all the new players that will come in on day one have already built businesses on the existing TikTok. They know the playbook, they know how to make content, and they're gonna come ready starting on day one. Now, if you care about making money at all from content, whether it's brand deals or to fund your business, the launch of US TikTok is not something that you should ignore. And I promise I will make a lot more videos in the future for the strategies and tactics for how to dominate on US TikTok as we get closer. So make sure to stay tuned and follow along for those. Now, I mentioned at the beginning of this section that I expect to see a couple new social media platforms or features launch in the next few years. US TikTok is for sure happening, that's one, but here are 2 other predictions for what I think will happen in the next 2 to 3 years. First, I think we're gonna see some new niche community feature be built on top of either Instagram, Threads, or X. And here's why. It's no secret that the world is diverging. While the internet feels like everyone's getting more connected, I'm sensing a trend of private groups, member clubs, walled gardens, and private communities become more and more popular over time. People are sick of the feed-based media that comes without a sense of community. Because of this, I expect to see new social features and potentially even a new social platform that takes advantage of niche-based social feeds and maybe even builds direct pipes for social into private communities. Think of this like the evolution of the Facebook group, but completely reimagined for this era. Now, I can't say for sure what this is gonna look like, but I expect something to come out that will take advantage of the lack of digital community that we're seeing across social platforms today. And when it does, again, you're gonna wanna be ready. And the way to be ready to take advantage of this is to start building your own private community today. You wanna be using social platforms to ramp people from public social feeds into private communities. I'm telling you, that will pay huge dividends later. You wanna start that now. All right, now my last prediction for new social platforms is that I expect to see a zag to the zig of AI content. It's no secret, if you've been following along with AI developments, Veo3, Higgsfield, FreePic, HeyGen, this AI content is no joke and is already indistinguishable from the human-made versions. Now, the truth is, no one is really sure what's going to happen to human creators when the emergence of AI content increases to the point where the humans get drowned out. But I suspect something new is going to emerge. With every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So whether it's a human-only verified feed or a human-only verified platform, something will emerge to combat the evolution of AI content. This will probably be blockchain-based and require some sort of digital verification to verify you're a human. Either way, regardless of what this is or how it works, we're going to see a lot of new changes coming to social platforms and the invention of new ones in the next few years. And like I said before, the one regret I have is that if I could have gone back and went harder during those early eras, I would have. So you really want to be ready and alert for when these things happen. Now, if I am the one you like to follow for social media growth, the best thing you can be doing during this era is using sandcastles. Sandcastles is basically my content brain, all these YouTube videos and all my thinking on content distilled into a super tool that you can access 24/7. It allows you to import and analyze all the videos from the best channels you follow across Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. You can then find the best performing videos in aggregate and start to figure out the trends and patterns that are working. This is my cheat code for how I make so much content so quickly. What I like to do on Sandcastles is find the top performing outlier videos over the last 3 months from a list of creators that I trust, and then reverse engineer which topics are working. I do this every single day. And this saves me hours on the research side and also de-risks my effort so that I make winners more often. You can think of Sandcastles kind of like 1 of 10 or vidIQ, but specifically for short form social media, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube Shorts. And we've also got a ton of other features that make sense for social that doesn't make sense for YouTube. I'm telling you, this is everything I know put into a tool at the cutting edge. If you want to give it a try for free, I've got a link below. I also linked a ton of free tutorials on how to use it. It's kind of like a free mini course, my gift to you, in the description. All right, the second major social media trend that I think is going to emerge big over the next few years is creator moats. During all previous eras of social media, all you needed to do was post consistently and be active. That was the only moat that you needed to win. And this was because, as shocking as this sounds in 2025, people still were dramatically underestimating the value that came from building a personal brand on social media. So not that many people actually did it, and there was a huge supply-demand mismatch. Well, unfortunately in 2025, the cat seems to be officially out of the bag. It's clear that in the last 12 to 18 months, most individuals and all brands have woken up to the fact that building an organic audience is the most valuable marketing asset you could develop. And because of that, we have seen a lot of new players enter the social media and content game in that period. I don't know about you, but when I scroll the feed, I am consistently seeing banger videos from new people I've never seen before. There are dozens of new faces I'm getting exposed to every day. And I often think to myself, damn, there are a lot of good creators out there now. Well, that feeling, if you feel it too, is there for a reason. The supply of good creators that know how to use a phone, they can tell a story, they can edit, is increasing exponentially. And so if you want to win in the next era of social media, just showing up and posting consistently is not going to be enough to cut through. Because instead of 3 people making content in a given niche, today it's 30, and tomorrow with AI content, it's gonna be 3,000. So in this next era, it'll be extremely important to define your niche positioning and build a durable creator moat. Now, when I say moat, what I mean is the difference between your personal brand in a category and everyone else's in the viewer's mind. Here's how I think about creator moats. They're really a combination of these 5 things. First is your topic niche. What topic do you actually make content about? Number 2 is visual format, and this is kind of the full package for how you visualize your videos, both the layout and the visuals you use themselves. Number 3 is your storytelling style, and this is how you present information and structure your ideas in a story flow that people can follow. Number 4 is the personality and vibe. Beyond the topic, beyond the story, and beyond the visual packaging, how do you come across as a vibe through the content, right? So this is the 4th bucket. And number 5 is X factor, and this really is the one of one thing about you, your special ability that you can add as an element or icing or a layer to the rest that makes you different from everyone else. Personality and vibe is the way you come across. The X factor is the thing about you that's different from everyone else. So these 5 elements combine together to create your signature style and unlock your creator moat. In this next era, it will not be enough to just make tech breakdowns or day-in-the-life gym videos. You're gonna need to build a visual-driven aesthetic and a signature style that pops in someone's mind when they think of the topic category. Now, some creators already had a signature style and were good at this from the jump. That's why they grew so fast. But before, you didn't need to have it. Now, in the next era, creator moats as signature styles are going to become table stakes where if you don't have it, you just won't be able to cut through. Now, if you want me to make another video breaking down a bunch of the signature styles that I like across different categories and what the components are for how they make it up, let me know in the comments and I'll do that. All right, now here's social media trend number 3. If I could go all in on a single concept for social media growth over the next 3 years, it will be this: a sticky personal brand. Because I think this framework is going to be the most important building block of marketing in the AI era. A sticky personal brand is one that implants in a viewer's mind so that they proactively seek it out again in the future. It's the difference between a viewer stumbling upon your video in the feed and remembering you versus them actively searching out because they want to hear your opinion on a topic. Here's the truth. In a world of noise, it's not just signal that matters. What matters is signal that sticks in the viewer's brain long enough to convert to their long-term memory so they remember to go back a second time. While creator moats are the framework for getting your content to feel signature and stand out, a sticky personal brand is the reason why a viewer remembers to go back in the future. It sticks in their head. And here's why this concept matters so much in the next era. In a world of AI-driven content, it will be much harder for someone to stumble upon your content on accident. I alluded to this metaphor in a previous video, but imagine it like this. Think of all creators on social media like little bodies walking around a giant warehouse floor. You, as the viewer, go up to the catwalk on the 3rd level and look down to see all the creators walking around. Now, if I asked you to find the person in the red shirt, could you do it? You probably could, because there's only 100 people walking around. There's only a few wearing red at all, and so you could easily pick that person out and zoom in. Today, stumbling upon someone on the social media feed is kind of like looking down at that warehouse and seeing the 100 people. If you scroll enough, you're gonna see them, because there's only 100 people making content. But in the AI content world, there will be 10,000 people on the warehouse floor, hundreds of which are wearing different shades of red. You won't just be able to stumble upon a specific person as easily. If you're swiping, it will take 10,000 swipes just to find the right person. You have to actively be seeking them out. This is why having a sticky personal brand, or in other words, a shirt color that someone actively looks to remember, is so important. The feeds are gonna be full of amazing videos. So many good videos, it will boggle your mind. So what you'll need is for fans to want to proactively seek you out and have a way to do so. The same way you look forward to watching your favorite TV show at 8 p.m. every Sunday. The act of getting people to seek will be the difference between winning and losing on social media in the future. So your only job is to build a personal brand sticky enough so that viewers actually want to seek you out. And so the question really is, how do you build a personal brand that is sticky? And how do you become such a mainstay in your category that viewers want to hear your opinion over everyone else's? And the answer is to build a cult-like personal brand. Now, I recently made a video deep diving on the full playbook for how to build a cult-like personal brand. And I'll link that video below. It's basically a step-by-step for exactly the type of content that you need to make in order to achieve this stickiness around your personal brand. But just know this, if you don't have a personal brand that people actively are seeking out, you're gonna have trouble winning in the next era of social media. All right, the 4th social media trend I'm seeing is the shift from quality first to quantity first when it comes to content strategy. Now, there's an ongoing debate between creators about which content strategy is best. Should you focus on making more posts at a lower quality, or should you focus on making fewer posts at a higher quality? It's the quantity versus quality debate. Some people claim that quality doesn't matter at all. You just post a ton of quantity and you're just guaranteed to win by law of math. Others claim that quality definitely matters, and if you make less but have the time to increase the quality, you'll win more often and it'll be worth it. Now, this seems like a trivial debate, but this is one of those things that I feel the most people get stuck overthinking on, so it's worth breaking down. Personally, I have flip-flopped on this several times, but I believe for the first time in a long time, we are shifting from a quantity-first era to a quality-first era when it comes to content strategy. Now, let me explain what I mean. Taking a quantity-first approach, just making high volume, works when you don't know which videos are gonna go viral. If you truly don't know and you're just waiting for random luck to strike, then yes, higher quantity always makes sense because you'll get more winners sooner. Now, a quality-first approach makes sense when you do know which videos are gonna go viral. And if you know how to make something go viral, you just need a little bit more time to execute on it well, then taking a quality-first approach with less reps is actually better. If that's you, your goal should be to make as many reps as you can, as long as they're above whatever the quality bar you know they have to be in order to work. Now, you may be thinking, how could someone know which videos are gonna go viral? And the answer is, if you just remake the ones that have already worked, your hit rate is gonna go up. And the truth is, for everyone using sandcastles to basically find the winners faster, that's what they've been saying to me. Their hit rate's just gone way up because they're using a research-driven, data-first process to find winners to choose their ideas. Now, when I initially started making content, I bought into the quality-first approach. Instead of making 7 videos per week, I only made 3, but I tried to make the quality better. I put more time in. And the reason I did that is because I was a perfectionist, I liked spending a lot of time on fewer things, and I really didn't want to make more videos. So that was the narrative I told myself. But then, as I began to study social media more like a scientist, I realized that the right answer was actually quantity first. And that was because in that era, 2023, 2024, we were still in a supply and demand mismatch. There just wasn't enough good supply to meet the demand. So me spending an incremental hour or two to go from 9 out of 10 quality to 10 out of 10 wasn't worth it. It'd be better if I just made 2 9 out of 10 videos instead of 1. But now, as we head into this AI-driven era of social media, I think we're shifting back to where quality first is the better strategy. And by this, what I really mean specifically is if you make any quantity that's below a minimum viable quality threshold, all of those videos are gonna fail. So it's not worth taking a quantity first strategy if that means you have to drop your quality down in order to get that volume out. Now, here's why I believe going forward in 2025 and beyond, quality first matters more. The feed is now full of really good content. There are a shit ton of good creators now making a ton of good videos. And this is only the beginning. As AI content gets better, I expect the amount of good videos to go up 1000x in the next 3 years. This means that the average viewer is inundated with more and more good content. And so their baseline for what average is slowly drifting up. If the baseline content was a 3 out of 10, well then as long as you beat the baseline, you could cut through. That baseline is now drifting from 3 to 4 to 5 to 6, and now it's up at 7 or 8 out of 10. People have seen so much good content that anything worse fails automatically. So in order to have your content continue to cut through in the next era, it's either gonna need to be exceptionally well made, extremely unique, or both, or it's just gonna flop automatically. The truth is, the average filler volume stuff did work in the past few years and has continued to work up until around now. Moving forward, it will not because the baseline is increasing. So I don't care if you post 30 videos per week, 10 videos per week, or 2 videos per week. If they're below a 7 out of 10 quality, they're gonna fail. The viewer's eye is just trained to filter out stuff that doesn't look as good as what the baseline is. Now I'll say this, there is a time in your creator arc where quantity first makes sense as the right strategy. And that time is at the very beginning when your skills are at a 0. You need to close the gap from 0 out of 10 to 7 out of 10 quality. And the best way to close that gap is more quantity. So here's what I recommend for most people. I'll say it super specifically so it eliminates all confusion. When you're starting out, you have 0 content skills. That means your quality is a 0 out of 10 and your quantity is a 0 out of 10. In order to get any video to cut through, you have to get the quality up to a 7 out of 10. Anything below that will fail. Now, the best way to improve your quality skills up to a 7 is to make a ton of quantity between 0 and 7. The more quantity you make, the faster those skills increase as long as you're learning between reps. I call this your learning era. The goal during the learning era is not to grow and hit bangers, it's to increase your skills up to a 7 out of 10 so that you can enter the game. Now, when I say do as much quantity to get to 7 out of 10 quality, what do I mean? Do as much quantity means make as many videos as you can where you can learn between reps. If you make 1 video a week, your skills are going to develop 7 to 10 times slower than someone making a video every day. Now, when I say 7 out of 10 quality, what do I really mean? Because I understand the word quality is very subjective and fuzzy. 7 out of 10 is very subjective. What does that actually mean? If you were to line up 10 videos on the exact same topic, 1 to 10, are you at least the 7th, 8th, 9th, or 10th best video? That's a 7 out of 10. What does this really mean in practice? If you think about the content workflow, idea, scripting, recording, editing, posting, that workflow, are you doing all the things you think you can be doing from a tips and strategies perspective in each bucket? That is about a 7 out of 10. So what I mean by that is, are you using some validated process to find ideas, or are you just picking random stuff? For scripting, are you using a storytelling framework and a hook framework that's proven to work, or are you just picking random stuff? For editing, are you using a visual format that's proven to work, or are you just picking random stuff? For recording, are you recording in a clean background that looks high quality with 4K footage, or are you just haphazardly shooting some blurry thing with no background and poor lighting? Those are the table stakes that get you around 7 out of 10. Now at 7 out of 10, you will look at a creator that you really admire, maybe it's me, maybe it's someone else, and you'll still notice a difference. That's okay. Those people are at 9 or 10 out of 10 and you're at a 7. But if you're not doing those table stakes things, your quality is probably below a 7 out of 10 and you should be doing them. Now, once you feel like your quality on a single rep is at 7 out of 10, you're doing all the things you think you should, but you're still not sure why your stuff does not look like the creators you admire, good, you're at a 7 out of 10. Now your job is to increase quantity up to 1 video per day while maintaining 7 out of 10 quality. Do not dip below 7 out of 10 quality because, as we've mentioned, anything below that will fail immediately. Your goal is to figure out, how can I get to 1 video per day at 7 out of 10 quantity? That's like metric benchmark number 1. Now, once you get there and you get comfortable, you'll already be in the top 1 to 2% of creators. If you're making 7 out of 10 videos per week, you will crush. However, you'll want your video quality to be better. That's natural with every creator. So you're gonna wanna go up from 7 to 9 out of 10. Now, when you do that, you're gonna have to spend more time per rep trying to figure out those icing details. You're gonna wanna spend a couple more hours per video. When you do that, your quantity is gonna drop from 7 down to 2 or 3 per week. That's okay. You get your quality up to 9 out of 10, and then slowly you increase that quantity until you get to the point where you're making 1 video a day at 9 out of 10 quality. When you can get there, your videos will be almost indistinguishable from anyone else on the internet, and your quantity will be outpacing them. That's how you win. The key difference with this whole section, my shift from quantity to quality, is to say this: anything below a 7 out of 10 quality will not work today and in the future. And so if you were taking a quantity first, 20 videos a week, super big volume approach, that's not gonna work unless those videos are above a 7 out of 10 quality. All right, social media trend number 5 is the emergence of more testing when it comes to organic video content. We're entering an era where content scientists that can run micro tests and A/B compare different things will outperform artists. We're shifting from artists to scientists. I've talked about this before. Now, the most important feature in this category that Instagram released in the last 12 months is called trial reels. And if you don't know what trial reels are, this is the most slept on social feature on the entire internet. Essentially, trial reels allows you to run concurrent tests of lookalike videos at the same time to non-followers. It's basically like Instagram letting you run free ads as much as you want. So let's say you're making a video about Meta's new Ray-Ban glasses. You spent a ton of time on this video, but you're just not sure if the hook you made is gonna perform. And as we know, as soon as a viewer churns, nothing matters after that point. So it's really important to dial the hook in. What you can do is make 5 different slight variations of the video. Same exact body, but 5 different hooks, whether it's what you say or the visuals you show. You can then post all 5 of these variations as different trial reels at the same time. Whichever one performs the best, you can then release that as the main one you post. Now, trial reels work so well because Instagram doesn't put those 5 trial reels on your profile. So it's not like your grid is gonna show the same video 5 different times. They also don't show those videos to people that already follow you. So only strangers are seeing the different variations. It's a true ABCDE test. And it's honestly insane how few people talk about using trial reels. Because essentially what this allows you to do is test video hooks for free with 0 risk. If you spend 4 hours making a video, well, it's worth spending an extra 30 minutes to film 4 additional hooks so that you can double or triple the output and make that effort worth it. This will help you have a much higher hit rate on your videos without having to remake a full other one. And if you think about it, that's really the goal of marketing. How do we get the most possible reach with the least possible effort? And if we can take actions to de-risk that effort, even better. Now, if you think about it, all other forms of marketing have extensive testing built in natively. Most email marketing has A versus B versus C headline testing. Paid ads are basically one giant set of tests. You're running a ton of ads trying to see what works and double down. YouTube has A versus B versus C thumbnail testing. But until trial reels, organic short form video really had no component where you could test without making a full video. You kind of just had to make the whole thing, post it, and then hope it works. So the takeaway is that I think this test first approach is gonna come to organic video content more in the next few years. For example, imagine if you made a YouTube video like this, but you could upload 3 different CTAs that would automatically get slotted in, and they could A/B test the performance. Whichever one was best, that's the video that ended up getting released. I think we're not very far away from having a really robust testing process when it comes to organic video content. So for now, my tactical guidance to you if you're watching this video is this. If you make short form video on Instagram, you need to be using trial reels. It's a huge cheat code. All right, the last social trend, number 6, is what I call R&D content teams. Over the past few years, we've quietly watched the emergence of an entire new class of content native marketers. These are people that grew up with social media and just default understand short form video, the algorithm, and attention. It is baked into their DNA. These people have learned over the past few years to become clippers, TikTok shop affiliates. A lot of them are making $20,000 to $50,000 per month just making short form videos from home. Now here's where this gets interesting and why this is such a valuable trend. The future of brand social is going to be building pools of these cracked content natives that work as gun for hire mercenaries that can push any brand you want. Now I made a video in the past breaking down how brands are starting to build out these pools of creators. If you want that, I will link it below. But the truth is, brands on the forefront already have Discord and Slack communities full of these people that are upside a line helping crack the content code and feeding it to each other. In the future, every brand is going to have a head of content that spearheads the R&D. And if that person doesn't make content already and doesn't have at least 100,000 followers, they're the wrong hire. Once that person is in place, they will disseminate a strategy for how to activate these pods. They're testing, feeding the pods are testing, feeding them, and there's a recursive loop of learning over and over. Content is no longer a spoke of marketing. Content is the marketing flywheel, and everything else are just spokes that feed the content. So if you're a CMO or a founder of a brand, this content pod strategy is going to become a critical piece of your marketing mix moving forward. It's so important that I believe brands are going to start hiring creator in residence positions that are these R&D savages that can run these pods. Now, if you're interested in me making another video for how brands should build out these content R&D pods, let me know and I can do that. All right, guys, that is all I've got for this video. We covered the 6 biggest social media trends that I see coming up over the next few years that you can take advantage of. As always, guys, I'm trying my absolute best to bring new stuff every week that gives you a leg up on everyone else when it comes to the content game. If you're a business owner and you like this video, you like getting these tips, you like the way I break things down, you should definitely join Wavy World. It's my free community specifically for entrepreneurs. We've got 65 free tutorials and trainings just like this in there that are sequenced so that you can improve your content the fastest. We have 33,000 entrepreneurs that are all helping each other improve their content. It's really a great community and it's better than most paid programs that people have. So if you want to join that for free, I've got a link in the description below. We will see you guys on the next video. Peace.